Welcome. This is Shakti Carola Nevrin. I'm what they call an evolutionary astrologer. So I want to welcome you for today's forecast. So I'm talking about the lunar eclipse, the upcoming lunar eclipse in Pisces on September 16th, which is happening at 12:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's happening at 24 degrees of Pisces. So wherever that is happening in your chart, this is what's kind of activated for you. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about transits and how we read them and what's happening in the skies up there right now and how that's impacting us in our personal life, because I believe this is why you come and look at my forecast, because you want to know what can it do for you. What do you get out of those potentials? And as I've said many times before, the way we make choices and step forward in our life very much depends on our state of consciousness. So our state of consciousness is the deciding factor. So my forecast readings are meant to educate you about and teach you about astrology and give you that awareness, that moment in time where you can make a conscious decision. And I have no doubt in my mind that astrology works. I've been doing it 38 years now, giving thousands of readings. But I do know that there are different ways to use that blueprint symbolized with your birth chart and however that is activated. So any planet in any sign or house can be expressed on the low end side of possibilities and on the high end side of possibilities. So my role as an astrological counselor and teacher is to bring those choices you have very clearly into your consciousness. So that's what I'm intending today with the lunar eclipse forecast, to talk about how you can ride the wave. I'm living on Maui, so every Chinese on Maui knows you have to learn how to surf a wave. You can't fight a wave. Maybe you can duck under, but basically you have to follow the rules, the immense power that wave has. And it's a good metaphor for the planetary frequencies we are encountering in our life. Okay, so I am what they call an evolutionary astrologer. So I look at everything in life from that perspective of that immortal soul you are, going through all these incarnations with the intention to grow in consciousness. I do believe this is really why we're here. And astrology, for me, has really become a spiritual path to sharpen that sense of self-awareness and self-inquiry and contemplation. And it sharpened my sense of being in the present moment and what I'm going to do in that present moment. And again, it's all based on your consciousness, and that's really the key, how you can use that present moment. So I am not a fortune teller. I don't believe the future is set in stone. As an evolutionary astrologer, I believe that there's a whole range of choices how to manifest certain potentials. And this is where some more you know, so some more choices you have. Okay, I do astrological readings, of course. I teach astrology, as you can tell. If you've been following me for a while, I'm very passionate about astrology and what it can do for you. And in my own life, I had the experience that it got me out of a lot of trouble and deepened my understanding and gave me those choices I've been talking about. So I have put together a class called Master Astrology Academy, where I really teach the nuts and bolts of evolutionary astrology. So if you really want to go deeper, you can connect with me. I'm launching end of September, but for my clients, I can give you access earlier than that. So, but even if you just keep following me in the forecast, you will learn about all the planets and the signs and how they work together with aspects. So every time you will get a new little tidbit of information. So over time you will learn a lot about astrology. All right, who is there with me? If you leave me your name, then I can say hello. So anyway, if you want me to keep you in the loop for my newsletter, with my newsletter for the forecast readings, or if you just love astrology and want you to be kept in the loop with astrological information, then you want to go to my website, mauiastrologyreading.com, sign up for my newsletter, and then you will get your free chart, your free horoscope, that wheel, and a free love stone report, which is based on your Venus position. So if you have been following me, you know I work and heal with gemstones as a way to balance challenging areas in your life. So, and of course, if you like my material, please make sure you like it. That's important for me to have that feedback, because otherwise I feel like I'm just talking into that empty space. So every time I do my next forecast, I do it based on the comments and feedbacks I got before. So that's why I'm going to talk today a little bit more about the zodiac and the signs and the planets and how that goes all together. Because with your comments, I get a feeling who's really listening and what you might be interested in. Okay, so the lunar eclipse is 14 days after we had the solar eclipse. So the solar eclipse is when the moon is between the earth and the sun. The sun is here, earth is here, and the moon is in between. And in a solar eclipse, the light of the sun is interrupted for a moment. So we can look at a solar eclipse as a reboot of consciousness. In a situation of a lunar eclipse, what we have right now, sun, earth, and the moon is on the other side of the earth. So the earth is actually interrupting the energy flow from the sun being reflected in the moon. So sun is representing consciousness and how we filter things and how we shine individually into the world. The moon is representing our inner world, our inner femininity, our emotional body. So we think as a solar eclipse as a reboot of consciousness, and a lunar eclipse as a reboot and a new fine-tuning, calibration of our emotional inner world. So, and by definition, our inner world, our subconscious, when we look at the wave, the top of the wave is our consciousness relating to the sun, the belly of the wave is our subconsciousness, and all coming out of the ocean, the ultimate consciousness, all there is. So the moon relates to the belly of our wave, where we have 90 to 95% of unconscious inspirations and drives and instincts. So this is where we have all our childhood memories, early childhood memories, past life memories. So whenever we get an activation, then it's like opening a little channel between consciousness and unconsciousness. So I believe this is really the high point of a lunar eclipse, that it kind of opens a big channel from our consciousness, our sense of self, how we perceive ourselves in the world, and that connection to a deeper level of our reality and our inner truth. So because it's in Pisces, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, the mystic, and Pisces is the last sign in one circle of evolution. So we have 12 signs building the zodiac, and it starts with Aries correlating to the spring equinox, and then in each month we see something different happening in nature. So Pisces is the end of one of that circle. Aries is then the beginning of a new round. So actually I look at evolution as being a spiral, spiraling up towards that point of oneness and highest consciousness. So okay, I don't want to go to the zodiac quite yet. I want to look at what's happening close to this lunar eclipse because it will add in more information. So first of all, this lunar eclipse, which in itself is kind of powerful and in this new calibration, but it's also happening very close to Chiron and Mars. And Chiron, the wounded healer, Mars, a warrior spirit. So there's a chance to tend to wounds and experience we have around patriarchal beliefs in this lifetime or in past lifetimes. So some deep inner material can bubble up and come into our consciousness. So Chiron always confronts us with the ability to heal something, and we are really the one who's doing the healing because it's really annoyingly painful if we don't. And Mars is on the low end, violence, abuse, war, but on the high end, Mars is the warrior spirit, the Amazon. So Mars is where we, on the high end, learn about courage, where we learn about passion, to find something worth fighting for or defending. So with this lunar eclipse, which is such a potent event to begin with, in connection with the Chiron and Mars, it will bring up a lot of unconscious material around that. And karmically, I know we all have a lot of wounds with Mars. We have all experienced many wars and abuse and violence and all that stuff. So along that trauma, which we all have somewhere, can make us very reactive around this lunar eclipse. So you want to get prepared that really very deep emotions, deep feelings of helplessness, devastation can come up into your consciousness. Also, what's happening very close to this lunar eclipse is that we have two planets who ending their retrograde passage. So one is Mercury ending his retrograde phase on September 21st, and the other is Pluto. Pluto, September 26th, is turning direct. So out of all these planets retrograding, revisiting, slowing things down, now two of them are moving forward. So it will mean that in the overall framework of the planets, things are kind of moving forward again. And that's why you do want to get your free chart, because then you really know where all the things I'm describing are happening for you in your chart. So I want to give you a little example, and for that I'm going to take you to my desktop here. Hold on. Let's see if that works. Okay, so all right, let me do it this way. So this is a chart. So this is actually my chart, and you can see the 12 zodiac signs around the circle, and you see my chart there in the middle. And I go a little closer here. So you can see my planets in the middle here, and then you see the planets out there around my zodiac, my chart, and this is where the planets are today. So inside is where they were in the moment of your birth, outside is where they are today. So for example, here on the top you see Neptune, 10 degrees in Pisces, which is in my 11th house, and it's squaring my Saturn, and that is something we actually all have happening in the heavens right now, but because I have it also in my personal chart, I will be very strongly impacted with that. So Neptune, the mystic, who is also the ruler of this lunar eclipse we're talking about, and Saturn, where you try to hold things together and you do the great work and you go deep, hopefully. So on the first glance, they're very different symbols, but somehow there is a chance for them to make something creative out of that. And this is really what astrology is about, to find creative, high-end ways to bring those potentials and frequencies, whatever the planets are describing, into an expression we like to see in our life. Okay, so when I talk about forecasts, then I always talk about the planets and where they are in the sign. But the house system, you can see here Neptune is in the 11th house, there's a little 11 down there. So we have 12 houses relating to the 12 signs. So the houses describe the fields of action, the areas in our life where we implement those forces. So for me, the Neptune transits in the 11th house means that I'm developing my strengths as a spiritual teacher for what I call my astrological tribe, for people who are like-minded, interested in astrology. So I'm coming from a very spiritual perspective, and that is deepening. So that's one way you could read that Neptune transit in the 11th house. So what I want you to do when you have gotten your free chart, that you see where is Pisces in your zodiac. So like for me, it's in the 11th house. So for you, it might be in the 1st house or in any house. So if you leave me a comment down there, I might give you a tidbit of what that means for you. And this is always how we calibrate back the transits and where they're happening in our personal life, because the houses describe those fields of action. Okay, so inside you see the planets. The planets are symbolizing different inner aspects, different inner voices, and also those universal principles. Then depending on where they are in the zodiac, they have that kind of nature, that kind of personality. And then depending on where they are in the house system, in the area and the fields of experience in our life, this is where they show up. This is where we have to express them. So I hope this will make a little more sense now to you. Okay, let's get back here. Me. Okay, so this is the first time I did this switching, but it works quite fine. Okay, so let's see, what else did I want for you? So let's talk about the ruler of Pisces, because that will also give you a lot of information how it plays out for you. So the new ruler of Pisces is Neptune. Neptune, the mystic, is our opening into the ocean consciousness, expanded consciousness. So Neptune is really the one sitting on the mountaintop, meditating in the cave, who is connected with a different non-physical reality, which is ultimately creating the three-dimensional reality as we know it. Okay, then the classic ruler is Jupiter. And as astrologers, we often forget about Jupiter, because we are used to read it for Sagittarius. And yesterday when I did the forecast for the upcoming week, we talked a lot about Jupiter changing sign, which has happened here Friday the 9th. So Jupiter stepped into Libra, which is a big deal. And so today I want to focus a little bit more about Jupiter as a classic ruler of Pisces. So Jupiter in the mainstream astrology is looked at the good luck planet. It's all about expansion and bigger and better, and the big fortune planet, bringing opportunities to us. And that's true. But ultimately, Jupiter is really inviting us to step out of our comfort zone and push the boundaries of our box we live in. And we all live in a box, of course. So yesterday I saw a wonderful documentary which kind of really gets the point across. So it's called Chef's Table, and this one is Chef's Table in France. So it's the first show in that series. And if you don't know the series, they always show this kind of life journey of those chefs and how they had to struggle and grow into their present position in the world. And of course I have all the 10 best chefs in the world and restaurants, but what I like about it is this biographical dimension of it. So here was this French guy who became a very renowned chef in France. He had 3 stars, 3 Michelin stars, which obviously is a big deal in that world. And so he was describing what he was doing and how long it took him to get there, to be so successful, and all the stepping stones. And then he talked about that suddenly he couldn't work with meat anymore. And he said he didn't know if it was the blood or the fact that there were living beings, but it just fell away from him. He just couldn't use meat anymore. And if you know the French cuisine, it's all based in meat. So he thought he had to do something different. He couldn't be a chef anymore. And then he went through this year-long metamorphosis, and at the end he developed a new style. So he just cooked vegetarian, which is a big deal in France. And then he worked his way up, so a year after that he had 3 Michelin stars again. So when I was watching that show, I was kind of really reminded of Jupiter, because Jupiter, as it belongs to Pisces, teaches us about that we, in order to grow and push the boundaries and get out of the old box, even if the box is successful, that there is also a loss involved. And many people, just looking at Jupiter, the big luck planet on a very surface level, forget about that. So Jupiter is a ruler of Pisces. Pisces is the end of one circle of evolution. Something is transcended. Something needs to be integrated to get ready to get to the next level, to step back into areas. So Jupiter has to do with loss and letting go in order to find something more meaningful. And that is really the high-end quality of Jupiter, to get us in contact with what is truly meaningful in our life. So there is a Chinese curse of, may you only make money in your life. I mean, think about it. If you only have a job because of the money and the bill the money pays, you will be utterly unhappy and frustrated. So in order to feel passionate about something and have a meaningful self-expression, we need to find a way to make a living which is in alignment with the potential we carry in our charts, that whole blueprint. So if we don't, then we only have a couple of hours left in the evening to do something which is more meaningful to us than the empty job we're holding in the daytime. So that's why it's very powerful to do astrology readings with younger people, because you can steer them in the right direction where they find that kind of meaningful clicking, that passion. And then work is not work. Then we can do 10, 12 hours to get something going. And we all have been in that place, and how good that feels. So bottom line, what I want to get at with the lunar eclipse, yes, it's an attunement, a calibration around our deepest emotions, but it is also a connection to the ocean of life, to more than just our ego identity and our ego needs. So Neptune is the one who opens us up, who connects us with that bigger field of consciousness. And then Jupiter kind of spurs us on to expand out of the old. Like for that chef, the old was to keep his 3-star restaurant going, and he just couldn't do it anymore. So he had to step out of the box, and he had no clue where to go. He had a year of not knowing and trying things out, and then the new thing could happen, a much more satisfying way of doing his profession, and where he was more in alignment with his own soul. And he made it into a 3-star business again. So how wonderful is that? I just love that story. It's such a good story for what we are discussing today. Okay, so I always get the question, what's the stone for this kind of energy? So the most famous Pisces stone, and there are more than one, is the amethyst. So amethyst, I have a really nice crystal here. You might not see it so clearly because it's pretty dark, but you can see the violet shimmer. So you might know the amethyst druses, and they can get actually quite big, not just small little pieces. So amethyst is really a wonderful stone to really open that connection to the non-physical, to our own higher self, to what I call the ocean consciousness, the ultimate consciousness, the divine, call it God, whatever. In every culture we have a word for that ultimate consciousness. So amethyst can help us to open up and connect and bring the inspiration, the ideas, the images, the music, the art, can bring all that in, because this is actually where true creativity and artistry is coming from. So amethyst, if you want to meditate with it, it's a wonderful stone to have on your third eye, or if you have a bigger piece, to lay behind your head. So it has the connection to the crown chakra. And then there is a brother of amethyst, which is a sugilite. It's one of my favorite stones. You can maybe see it. It's dark violet, and it has these kind of iron stripes in it. So the sugilite is helping us to bring those informations and inspirations into the physical, doing something concrete with it, materializing something. So I always play with that stone when I do my forecasts or I do readings. It just helps me to stay focused and concentrated. So I love both of them. So if you have any planets in Pisces, this is one of your birthstones. And if you want to check out your personal most healing true birthstones, then you want to check out my gemstone profile or my book, Jewelry and Gems for Self-Discovery. So I have a lot of information about the combination between astrology and healing gems. So is that something of interest for you? Email me or go to my website and check things out. Okay, I don't see any questions here right now. So I think I have covered what I wanted to talk about for you. So because that lunar eclipse is so powerful, it's a full moon. So a full moon in itself sheds a lot of light, but it's different this time because the Earth is between the moon and the sun. So that's why we get the red moon, where the moon is in the shadow and it turns red. So there are kind of interesting aspects to that. So yeah, I want to inspire you to really make sure you know where that is happening in your chart, and get back to me. Let me know what you think, and I will answer and comment back to you, I promise. Okay, if you haven't done so, please like my video and make sure you sign up for your newsletter, and I will see you probably next week again for your weekly power forecast. So aloha from Maui and namaste, and I see you very soon.